Let's go ahead with NAT configuration on Huawei USG firewall. In this video, I'm gonna concentrate on the destination NAT. So our main task is to let internet users access the FTP server located in our local area network. This server is placed in DMZ zone that separates a local area network from other untrusted networks, usually the public internet. Any service provided to users on the public internet should be placed in that DMZ network. So once again, our FTP server is located in that DMZ zone, and our task is to ensure access to the FTP server for internet users. The only protocol used to access the server is gonna be FTP protocol. All other protocols are going to be denied. We'll also permit the server to access the internet, so we'll use the source NAT to do that. I'm going to use the same topology which we already used when we were discussing the source NAT with NAT address pool. The FTP server has been added to the firewall, so let's go through the points to complete our lab. At the beginning, we need to set the IP address and configure FTP server. Let's open FTP server. The IP address is 10.0.100.2. Subnet mask 255.255.255.252. Gateway 10.0.100.1. Save. Server info. We need to set and start FTP server, so the root path, and start the FTP server. Then we need to configure the link between the firewall and the FTP server. So interface gigabit Ethernet 101, IP address 10.0.100.1 with mask 30. As you already know, this interface has to be added to a firewall zone. This time it's DMZ zone. So firewall zone DMZ, add interface gigabit Ethernet 101. The next task we need to complete is configure source NAT to let the server access the internet. We're going to use source NAT with NAT address pool. So NAT address group, let's name it public out. I'm gonna use mode without port translation, so mode no path global, root enable, section, and the public IP address is 6.6.6.1. And this address is reserved for the server and can be used by other devices. Display this. Then we need to set NAT policy rule. So quit NAT policy, rule name public out, source zone DMZ, destination zone untrust, source address 10.0.100.0 with mask 30. And the action for this rule is source NAT address group public out. As USG firewall blocks all traffic by default, we need to set a rule in security policy that lets the server IP address access the internet. So, security policy, rule name public out, source zone DMZ, destination zone untrust, source address 10.0.100.0 with mask 30, and the action for this rule is to permit. Let's verify whether we can ping 1.1.1.1 from the FTP server. So let's go to FTP server and the target IP address is 1.1.1.1. We're gonna send 3 pings and send. And yes, we can ping, and the ping succeeded. The server can access the internet. Now we can concentrate on our main task. So to let internet users access the FTP server using FTP and only FTP protocol. So the command to configure the destination NAT is NAT server protocol TCP global, and the public IP address is 6.6.6.1 FTP inside, and the private IP address of the FTP server is 10.0.100.2 and FTP, and also UNR root to prevent routing loops. And finally, we have to add a new rule to security policy to allow FTP traffic from internet to our FTP server. So security policy, rule name public, and this time it will be in, source zone untrust, destination zone DMZ, source address 1.1.1.1 with mask 32, destination address 10.0.100.0 with mask 30. And the action for this rule is to permit. Let's verify whether we can ping FTP server from the internet. Let's go to ISP router, ping -a 1.1.1.1, and the public IP address of the FTP server is 6.6.6.1. No, I can't ping, so it's correct. Can I connect to the FTP server using FTP protocol? FTP -a 1.1.1.1 6.6.6.1. Username test, password test. There you go. So using the destination NAT, we can configure access to our internal servers. We can also easily restrict IP addresses of internet users as well as used protocols. And remember, any service provided to users on the public internet should be placed in the DMZ network.